Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the Indiana State Police Roadshow. I'm your host, Sergeant John Prine, the Indiana State Police Public Information Officer at the Indianapolis District. Roadshow is brought to you each and every week by the Indiana State Police Alliance and Cops for Kids, a subsidiary of the State Police Alliance. For more information about our sponsor, you can visit them at www.indianasfinest.com. The man behind the camera and all his efforts put on the Indiana State Police YouTube channel is Mr. Tom Trial, and we appreciate how hard he works to make us look good. Several comments about how much better we look now than we did when I was doing it with my cell phone a few months ago, so we're so glad to have Tom back. And, of course, we want to thank our partners at MS Communication and Network Indiana for getting us on the radio airwaves across the great state of Indiana at different times and different places. And thank you to all of us who carry our show to get the Indiana State Police Roadshow back out on the airwaves. So my guest today is a longtime friend and fellow trooper, Master Trooper Rob McKeeman. He is a tactical flight officer in our special operations. Rob and I go way back. We patrolled the afternoon shift together at District 51 Pendleton years ago for a long time, and now we've stayed friends. And Rob's a good guy, but we're here to talk about what he does, and really, in a nutshell, he gets to ride in the passenger seat of a helicopter and get paid for it daily.
Yes.
So for those that don't know, the Indiana State Police does have an aviation section. We have 3 helicopters.
We have 3 helicopters.
One fixed wing.
Yeah. We have 2 fixed wing.
2 fixed wing airplanes.
3 helicopters and 2 fixed wing, yeah.
And so, Rob, just give an overview of what the idea and purpose is behind having an aviation section.
Sure. The aviation section, mainly we go and we search for elderly that may have gotten lost, maybe in a cornfield, maybe in the woods, dementia patients at times, maybe children who have handicaps that are the same. They're out of their house and mom can't find them, and so we'll go and we'll use infrared camera. It's the power of infrared is unbelievable. It takes any human or animal and it just gives off their body heat. It sees their body heat. This camera does. So I'll be over a cornfield and we'll see the outline of the human outline, and it's going to be white, just plain white. Everything else around will be grays and dark colors, indicating that they're cool, whereas we're all 98.6. It gives off that heat, and then we can direct the good guys on the ground to that person, whether, again, they need an ambulance or whether they need handcuffs. Maybe they ran from a trooper on the ground or a deputy, and then they got out of the car and ran into a corn. So that's really, in a nutshell, that's what we do. We also will do some transport flights as well. We do some marijuana eradication, where our fixed wing pilot will go to various districts across the state, and he'll put a trooper in the plane with him, and off they go, and they'll look for marijuana plants in places, and then of course try to make arrests off that information. But yeah, some transport flights once in a while, and searching for people.
It's so cool what you do. And for those that don't know, tactical flight officer is his title. But essentially, we have one guy whose job is to fly the helicopter and one guy whose job is to operate the technology. And you're that guy.
Yes.
There's 2 of you.
Yes.
And you guys rotate being on call.
We do.
On top of working regular hours as well. But we're real fortunate. We just recently opened a new hangar at the Greenwood Airport. And talk a little bit about the value of having a home base like that.
Absolutely. The Greenwood Airport, the city of Greenwood in general, has been just fantastic to us. I mean, really fantastic. They've created this hangar, they built it, and we're going to essentially lease that from them for who knows how long. We might be there for the duration. It's a fantastic hangar space. The hangar itself is large enough for all 3 helicopters, both airplanes. We could probably do another helicopter in there if it came to that, or another airplane. And then we've got some office space through the wall, so to speak, a big conference room. They really went out of their way to make this a great place for us, and we're very, very pleased to be there. It's centrally located in Indiana. We can get anywhere. Once we start spinning the rotors, we can get anywhere in Indiana in about 1 hour. That's the furthest we would be. It's 1 hour. Yeah. So if you live between Greenwood and the northern border or the southern border, we'll be there within the hour.
That's pretty incredible. And I know that at one time, the Indiana State Police had a very robust aviation section. Several helicopters, several fixed wings.
Yes.
And over time, because of expense and different reasons, that kind of fizzled out. And I know Superintendent Carter made it a priority to bring back our aviation, and he's worked so hard to do that. But we talk about the fruits of that have already been seen. You guys have already had very successful stories.
Yes.
Using the technology, using the helicopter, life-saving stuff. Maybe talk, I know that you have stories, but maybe talk about the really early on. I know that you had a save of an elderly person who was a subject of a silver alert.
Yes. He it was I believe he was 89. He was either 89 years old or 92 years old. Excuse that part.
Yeah.
But his body temperature was also either 89 or 92. So this gentleman was in Hendricks County. Again, he was a dementia patient. Unfortunately, he's living with his son. The son went to check on him, say midnight-ish, and his dad was gone. So he called the local agencies, and they came. The fire department came with men and women to help look. Bloodhounds, all these dogs to try to find this man's scent, what have you. And they said, you know what, the state police has got this new helicopter with this great camera system. Let's see if they'll come. So of course we did. And I think we were on that scene for maybe 10 minutes. And the infrared camera, I guided around and looked for those hot spots, look for those white spots.
Because you're seeing the searchers as well. So you got to kind of know who's where and what's that.
You've got it. So you see a searcher and you think, could that possibly be our guy? But you have to think, okay, this man's, around 90 years old.
Right.
This person's walking very swiftly, with a purpose. That's probably not our guy.
Sure.
And if you think it is, you call down, hey, is there anybody in the backyard of such and such house? And they say, yeah, that's me. Okay.
Right.
So we move on. The point is, we found this man. I'm going to say within 10 or 15 minutes, we had him, and he was laying in the fetal position, and we could clearly see that outline of that man from probably 1,200 feet off the ground and almost a mile away. Literally 1 mile from him.
That's incredible.
I thought, well, let's zoom this camera way in, and we could see that figure. So like you said earlier, the pilot keeps us out of the trees and out of the wires and everything else, and then I tell him once we're on scene, this is where we need to be. So, hey, pilot, I need to go closer to that thing, and that is 11 o'clock at 1 mile. So he gets us closer and closer. We found the man, and like I said earlier, I believe he was 89 years old, but his body temperature was down to 92. Right, it was a cold night. Not a doctor, but we did speak to the officers on the ground the next day, and they said that he probably would have passed away in the next couple hours. So I mean,
incredible.
It was a save.
I mean, that makes it all worth it.
It does.
But you have more stories like that. We're not going to go through all of them, but it's not just the life saving, but also there's a criminal element. You guys have been involved in some vehicle pursuits that if we're in a vehicle pursuit and we can get a helicopter involved, it makes it a lot safer for everybody.
Yes.
Because the officers can back off a little bit.
Yes.
Then the suspect necessarily isn't being so closely pursued that maybe they're not quite driving as recklessly.
True.
Again, so many things fall into place, but I know that I've been part of a couple of apprehensions. Thankful for the helicopter crew up there.
Yeah. We can, on the note of the pursuit, we can see that vehicle from 2 or 3 miles away. So if the officers on the ground want to back off, they can back off, and then eventually that guy is going to stop somewhere and get out, and then we can follow him on foot until they can converge. As far as apprehending people, again, it's all about that camera system and how great that infrared is. But we've had, I want to say, 6 or 8 in the last couple of years where someone's run from the police. They either their car fails and they run on foot now, and we found them. Nice. It's fantastic, and as far as the word tactical comes into play, is I have to use my police mind to say, I got to get these good guys to them tactically and safely.
Yeah.
So what's the best way to do that?
Right.
So we all slow down. I tell them on the radio, hey, I need everybody to slow down for a minute. Let me figure out how to get you to this person, because he's not moving.
Right.
But
you have the very best vantage point.
Yes.
And they're in the thick and the weeds and the corn and whatever, so you're able to guide them step by step.
Yes, you got it. You got it.
Look, in 6 feet, you're going to turn right. And
you got it.
So again, the safety aspect of having eyes in the air is irreplaceable.
It is.
And again, that's human. I know that the drone technology is there, and a lot of people are using those, and that's fantastic for a quick response. But you can't replace those human eyes in the air.
Yes, you got it. Yeah, and it's a bigger view, I believe. Of course, the more altitude we get, the more we can see yet. But yeah, the human element's there.
So talk to me about, let's say that you and a pilot are sitting at your desks at the hangar.
Mm-hmm.
The bat phone rings. Bing,
Sure.
bing, got to go.
Sure.
How long till you're in the air?
We're off the ground in under 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, under 10 minutes.
So you got to think that's pretty incredible. They got to pull the helicopter out of the hangar.
Mm-hmm.
They've got to warm it up and do all their safety checks and all
Yes.
that stuff, and in the air in 10 minutes. That's
Yeah,
pretty good.
yeah, we're in the air in 10. So if it's, say it's a 30-minute flight to Camp Atterbury, I'm just making that up, then we'll be there in 39 minutes because we got to get it ready and then off the ground.
How fast can our helicopter go?
It's around 100. If you're talking in terms of vehicles, it's around 130 or 40 miles an hour.
Okay.
In the right conditions.
Yeah.
If the wind's in your face, it's going to slow down. It's behind you, you're going to speed up some.
Yeah.
That's what we call Copter 1. That's our newest.
Yep.
2017 is when it was built to Bell 407. The older helicopter we have is a little slower than that. It's 1983 or 86, I believe, is when it was built. And they both are really sharp looking. They're blue in color. You just have to see them one day. If you can see us in the air sometime and use binoculars, you'll get a chance to look at it, or maybe a PIO event.
Yeah, and it is. And for some reason, I can always tell our helicopter, not just by the color, but it just makes a unique sound to me. And I'm no helicopter or aircraft guy or anything, but you can hear it coming from a long way, and it's actually a good feeling. If you're on the scene of anything, whether it's a search, a perimeter, whatever it may be, as boots on the ground, it's always a good feeling knowing that you've got those eyes up there.
It is, because I imagine myself being on the ground at those occasions, and as an officer having done it before, we can only look about 180 degrees. So what's behind us is, it's a police thing. What's behind us and what's going to hurt me? Where is it coming from? Now I can see what's behind John Prine.
Yep.
And I can see what's behind Deputy Smith and all those other folks.
Well, and another purpose that a helicopter specifically to a criminal element is when we're searching for a suspect, and that suspect hears that helicopter. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Maybe they're going to just lie down and hide somewhere. Well, that gives us more time to create a perimeter, more time to get a plan, and so definitely several advantages to it.
Yeah, it sure does. It's I'm always surprised when we get over something and I see the person laying in that cornfield that they're not going to get up and run.
Yep.
I mean, why aren't you running? But they don't.
And another unique thing that we can use mostly our fixed wing for, I guess we could use the helicopters, but is traffic enforcement. I mean, what sometimes people don't understand is you see those signs on the road that says, traffic enforced by air or whatever it may be. Sure. That's true. We do use those fixed wings for
We
for
absolutely
things like that.
do. We absolutely do. And it's becoming more and more, as a matter of fact. I've heard talk around the hangar just recently about that. And so the eyes in the sky, as it were, is happening.
So what those pilots and spotters are looking for when they're doing those traffic details is most of the time, if we're not only just looking for speed, but speed really starts it as we have two big lines painted on the interstate, and essentially they've got a stopwatch. You got it. And they're timing you between those two lines, but they're also watching for you to be tailgating, weaving in and out of traffic, driving really aggressively, and they're going to radio that information down to one of the waiting troopers with a vehicle description. And they watch that get stopped, and then they're on to the next one. And so it's really an efficient way to target an area with a high enforcement effort.
Yeah, very much.
And so, again, we've been talking with Master Trooper Rob McKeeman from the State Police Special Operations. And we talked a little bit about the hangar. We got about a minute and a half here. It's not just for our pilots and our helicopters. All of our special operations are kind of being centrally headquartered out of that. Yes,
you got it. We've got, of course, we're in Greenwood, just off County Line Road, and our new hangar is big and got great office space and cubicles and kitchen and so on. But we've got all the elements of special operations have, at least at the very minimum, they have space there. We're commanded by Major Dave Travis. He's got his office there. Captain Terry Treon is there. But yeah, we've got of course, we've got room for the pilots, the TFOs, myself and Mike Taylor. There's what we call a ready room. So if we need a little break, a little rest between flights. Of course, the conference room is getting used quite a bit. But we have a mezzanine area that's got some storage space for the SWAT guys. It's got storage space for the canine folks, the motors, as we call the motors, it's the motorcycle units. And the scuba team. So everybody's got a piece of that hangar out there, and it's really working out well. Great. Well, we're very thankful for that space and for our partnership, like Rob said earlier, with the city of Greenwood and all their efforts that they did to provide that space for us, or at least help us get there. So
Thank you very much, Rob, for coming
Sure,
in, and
sure.
always intriguing to learn about what different things of the state police. But I think everybody has a special interest in what our helicopters do.
For
so
sure, it's
awesome.
the luckiest job on. It's not the lucky. I'm the
Yeah.
luckiest guy with the best job on the department.
Yeah. So, all right. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it. Everybody take care, and we'll catch you next time.
Take care.